Y bueno, vamos a dar entonces comienzo a esta sesión, a este quinto webinar, y por eso voy a
So we're going to
saludar.
go ahead and get started with this fifth session, with this fifth webinar. I'm going to say hi to you once again. Welcome once again to this fifth session of the 2021 cycles of Southern Dialogues, which is organized by the Colombian International Cooperation Agency, APC Colombia, to perform best practices in public policies with our global Southern partners to face the challenges that we all as a community face. In this session, we're going to speak about the apostille and legalization and online services developed by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Colombia, and also with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs with the Dominican Republic. This service aims to drive the development of electronic registries and using interoperable technology and fostering the interaction cooperation with the population and the productive national sector. And of course, we've all needed these services, all of those who have lived overseas, all of those who have people that don't live in our own country. So before we start, I would like to ask our attendees to follow the instructions on the screen regarding the interpretation simultaneous options that we have. You have to go to the bottom right part of the screen. You're going to find an interpretation icon, and then you can choose your preferred languages for those people that prefer to keep listening in Spanish. You don't have to do just anything, and you just have to listen to just stay here. The event will last 60 minutes, and we'll have a Q&A session that will facilitate dialogue between the panelists. So with pleasure, we're going to receive also your questions, your inquiries in the Q&A module um, in the bottom part of the Zoom module, close to where we have all the interpretation features. The event will be moderated by Catalina Quintero, offer director of APC Colombia, and the dialogue will have the participation of Bernardo Avellaneda, leader of the Opposite Group of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Colombia, and Carmen Delia Ventura, Director, Apostille Director of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Dominican Republic. To all the three of you, warm welcome. Very good morning. And this moment, I'm going to leave you in the company of Catalina Quintero, Offer Director of APC
Bueno,
Colombia.
muy buenos días
Hello.
a todas y todos.
Very
Muchas
good morning
gracias,
to
Winnie.
you all.
Estimadas y
Thank you,
estimados
Winnie.
colegas del Sur Global y
Dear
por
colleagues from the
supuesto
Global
también las
South, and of
personas que nos
course,
acompañan
everyone
acá
that's joining us
del
here
territorio de
in
Colombia.
the territory of Colombia.
Bienvenidos nuevamente a este evento que
Welcome
hace
once
parte
again
del
to this
ciclo
event that's
2021
part of
de
the
los Diálogos del Sur.
2021 cycle
Estos
of the
Diálogos del
Southern
Sur
Dialogues. These
son
Southern
una serie de
Dialogues are a
conversaciones
series
en
of
torno a
talks
algunas de las experiencias
regarding
exitosas
some
de
of the
Colombia
successful
que han
experiences
sido
from Colombia
compartidas
that
o
have been
están en
shared
proceso de
or
compartirse con
are
otros
being
países del
shared
Sur
right now
Global
with other
y
countries
que
of the Global
conforman
South
nuestro
and that are
portafolio de
part of
oferta de
our
cooperación
portfolio
que
of cooperation
difundimos en
offer
nuestra
that
agenda
we
de
disseminate
cooperación Sur-Sur
in
y
our
cooperación
South-South
triangular.
cooperation
Las
agencies.
experiencias que estamos
So,
promocionando en
the
este
experiences
segundo
that we are
ciclo
fostering
tienen
in the
el rasgo
second
común
cycle
de que
have
generan
as a common
oportunidades
ground
para
that
la
they
reactivación
generate opportunities
económica
for
y
economic
promueven la
reactivation
equidad y la
and they
inclusión,
foster
valores
equality and inclusion,
fundamentales de la cooperación
paramount values
internacional
of
colombiana.
international cooperation from
El
Colombia.
intercambio que nos
The
convoca hoy
exchange
tiene que
that
ver con el
summons up
rol del
today has to
Estado
do
como
with the role of the
prestatario de
state as
servicios y con las
service provider
oportunidades que las
and with the
tecnologías
opportunities
digitales
that
brindan para prestar
digital
servicios de
technologies provide
manera
to
más
provide
ágil,
services in a
costo
more agile,
eficiente y amable al
cost
usuario.
efficient, and user-friendly
Me
way.
parece muy importante,
I believe that
pues
it's
ya que
really important,
nuestros
given the
colegas nos
fact
van a
that
compartir en detalle
our
esta
colleagues are
buena
going to be here
práctica,
with us
ponerle
and
cara
share
humana a sus
the best
procesos
practice to
que
put a
pueden
human
parecer
face
muy
on the process that
administrativos.
look very
Detrás de cada
administrative and
solicitud de
bureaucratic.
apostilla y
Behind
legalización hay alguien
every
con una
apostille
idea
because
o un
there's someone with an
proyecto a
idea
futuro que
or a
requiere del
dream
movimiento.
that needs
Hay estudiantes,
that's
parejas,
dreaming about something. There are
emprendedoras,
students,
socias,
couple, entrepreneurs,
inventoras, arriesgándose
partners,
a crear.
inventors,
Qué bonito
daring
que el
to
servicio
create. So
público
it's
tenga
very
un
beautiful
rol
to
en
have
esos
a
procesos.
face in a
Y los
public
trámites de
service and
apostilla y
put a face on the public
legalización
service. And
son
the apostille
especialmente
legalization
pertinentes
paperwork,
en países
especially
como
important in
Colombia y
countries such as
República
Colombia and
Dominicana,
the Dominican
que tienen
Republic
diásporas tan
that
importantes
have
para los países de
such
acogida y tan
important
fluidas en sus
diasporas
relaciones
for
laborales y
other countries
profesionales.
for
Por
work
eso, la prestación
and
de este
professional
servicio
relationships. So the
beneficia la
provision of the
inserción
service benefits
profesional
the
de migrantes,
professional
la
insertion of
creación de
migrants,
negocios
the
y la
creation of
promoción de
businesses,
empleos.
and the promotion
La facilidad para hacer
for
los
job
trámites en
creation.
línea
So
también reduce la incertidumbre,
doing
que es
this
doblemente importante
paperwork
cuando se están
online, it's
tomando riesgos
really,
de
really
peso.
important
Como
and
muy comenzar un
easier for
negocio o
people,
construir
for
una
example, when
carrera
you want
o
to
un
create a
hogar.
business, create a career, a
Un
home
trámite menos
overseas.
son varias canas
One
menos
less
y eso es
paperwork
bastante.
are less gray hairs.
Entonces
So
quiero
less gray hairs means
darle
more
la
happiness.
palabra
So I
a
would like to
Bernardo
give the
Avellaneda,
floor to
líder de operación
Bernardo
del Grupo de
Avellaneda,
Apostilla del
operations
Ministerio de
leader
Relaciones
from the
Exteriores de
Apostille Group of the
Colombia,
Ministry of Foreign Affairs of
para que él
Colombia,
nos pueda
so that
contar
he
en
can
términos
tell us
generales en
in
qué consiste
general
el servicio
terms
de apostilla y
what is the
legalización en
apostille
línea
and
y por
legalization
qué
service
es
all
considerada
about
como una
and
buena
why it is
práctica.
considered as a
También
best
en
practice.
el desarrollo
Also,
de
in
lo
the
que él nos va a
development
contar,
of what he's
por
going
qué
to
el
tell us,
Ministerio de Relaciones Exteriores está
we would like to know
dispuesto a
why the
ofrecer
Ministry
este
of Foreign Affairs is
conocimiento y su
willing
saber
to
a través de
provide
un
this
proyecto de
knowledge
cooperación
through
sur-sur.
a
Y por
South-South cooperation
supuesto, al
project. And
interior
of
de la
course,
Cancillería, ¿cuál
within
es la perspectiva
the
en el
Ministry of Foreign
desarrollo de
Affairs, what
esta
is the
buena
perspective in
práctica?
the development of
Entonces,
this best practice?
bienvenido,
So,
Bernardo,
welcome,
y
Bernardo.
la palabra es toda tuya.
And the floor is
Gracias.
all yours. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning to everyone that's here present with us. Before we get started, well, I would like to say that this paperwork of the apostille or this apostille has had a progressive correlation. For example, right now it's 100% online apostille service. Everything that has to do with the paperwork or of apostille and document legalization. This is a procedure that's on 100% done online, guys. It's a procedure that is done online. We provide the service 24/7 worldwide from any place the users are, any place in the world they may find themselves. And there's no need of attending physically to perform this paperwork. Then you don't need no middleman, and you don't need any middleman, and you don't need to go physically to any of these places. Given the fact that all this procedure is done from the website of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in www.cancilleria.gov.co. The procedure, we go to the tab apostille and online legalization. We find the online form from which the user can perform his procedure from any place in the world they may find themselves in. They only need the document with the signature of public servant that is duly registered in the database of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And with that, he can manage his paperwork and his procedure. Currently, we have two modalities of documents. There are some that are called electronic documents. These are the ones that you get automatically in the application thanks to the existence of interoperability with the issuing entities from which they come from. So these apostilles practically are managed in an automatic way, sorry, in the application. So that's why they issued almost immediately in real time. And in this first modality, well, we are close to reach 50% of documentation that it's done this way. Regarding the other type of documents, digitalized documents that are the other category of documents from which the user is the one that digitalizes their documents, they upload them in the application. These documents are entered into a studio flow in which these documents are received by the professional agents that are in charge or reviewing these documents and verifying that they fulfill all the legal and specific requirements of signature to be able to be apostilled or legalized. This procedure also is managed through the application, and the response time of this procedure is 3 working days in some cases, but most of them are a few days. Well, why do we consider that this apostille and legalization is a best practice? Why? What led us to reach this goal and this distinction? Well, basically because it's a technological solution that allows to optimize the use of technical resources, human resources, and infrastructure resources with the objective of rationalizing and automizing all the procedure. So this solution, technological solution that was developed um, by us has allowed to all the parts of the procedure to be done comprehensively in one platform, integrated in one platform from the reception of the document, the registry of the request, its study, and its controls, monitoring, its follow-up, and of course, everything that has to do with payment and later issuance of legalization. So This technological development has allowed to simplify everything that has to do with the procedure, and additionally has allowed for Colombia to fulfill both components of the electronic apostille program from the permanent The Hague office that of course corresponds to the electronic apostille and to development of the electronic registry where we can validate these apostilles. Well, additionally, these apostilles are issued with the digital signature. So this allows us to guarantee the safety of these apostilles for them not, we guarantee that this can be altered, that they can be online, validated online, sorry. And of course, this reduces the risks of intervention of third parties that may manipulate these documents. So this way, the citizen also is benefited as because they don't have to go from one entity to the other. It's all integrated in one part. This best practice has allowed for users to be able to access in equal conditions this service. Is just you just need to have an internet connection, and it doesn't matter where you're located, you can access the paperwork. So also in Colombia, the issuance of apostilles is centralized with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. It's the only authority to issue these apostilles, and is this process by being centralized, by and being 100% online. This process, well, users don't have to go to a physical office. For example, that was the case before. People needed to come to the capital, Bogota, to do this procedure. So that's been a huge benefit for the population in general. That, as I mentioned before, you can access this without any problems, wherever they may be located. Now, regarding what has been the evolution of Colombian apostille, can you confirm it? Can you see my presentation? Can you see the slide where we see the forms? Um,
Sí, Bernardo.
the electronic apostille model. Yes, we can see it now. Well, this part here, we would like to mention it so everyone can see that this hasn't been like an overnight process. I'm gonna be honest, it hasn't happened overnight. It was progressive, and it took a long time to be able to develop all this platform. In the beginning,
apostilla a través de la ley 455.
Colombia became part of the Apostille Treaty of 1998, and till the 30th of January 2001, this convention entered in to be enforced and started to be enforced in Colombia. So from the base and initialization of the application of the convention, well, on the first stage, the apostille issuance was done, as it happens in many countries, with a rubber seal or an ink that you put over the document. You just, it was handwritten, and you did it with the signature document with physical parts that were done then to be able to approve the documents by certifying the signature by the public official that had their signature registered in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. In this first stage from 2001 to 2007, everything was 100% done in person. So what were the limitations? Well, of course, it was only done from Monday to Friday in office hours. There was a huge group of people taking care of these requests, around 60 people, and the volume of requests has always been high because Colombia is a migration country, it's a country that migrates a lot. And well, and in this measure, well, the manual paperwork in this way delayed the response times, um, and it will lead to poor practices. Maybe there were some cases of corruption, document forging. So regarding these situations, well, we started seeing how could we generate through the use of technologies a system that was more efficient. So that's how we see this first apostille model that's generated through a system that was, of course, filled out by the agent in charge of the documents. And this apostille here was filled out, printed, and it was a sticker that was put in the document in the back of the document. So each apostille was left with a unique code with which currently we we can validate and that were included in this first version of electronic registry of apostilles. So when we validate these apostilles, where we're going to get only the basic information. We're not going to be able to see the apostille or the basic document, just the general information about the document that was presented, when who it belongs to and the official, etc. So we just confirmed that the apostille was actually issued, and that is part of the system. After this implementation phase, we get to 2008, to the first apostille, the first electronic apostille. It had actually an electronic signature, and that could be validated in the system. Everyone could see it online. It wasn't printed. It was just as per request from the user. It was done in person. So you get the digital document, but you get the document. You go to the office. So you go to the office for review. So at that moment, the registered signature started to be digitalized precisely to feed the system with this signature that came physically, that came from public servants that were registered back then. And from there, we enabled the virtual service online from 2012. Well, we had a 50-50 modality, so we could fill it out. It could be done either in person and online, 100% online, where the user doesn't have to go to the office in person. It could just manage their document online. So through the enhancements that we had in this year 2012, as a cause of all the participation of Colombia in the electronic apostille international forum, so there was a huge interest in implementing this technological solution. We acquired progress in 2012, actually. There was a breakthrough here, and it was that we achieved the first interoperability. And what does this mean? That the document is the generation of an electronic document from the issuing entity. The document that we have is the National Police, and the background, what we achieved with this. So we integrated the database of the National Police, and the user could fill out this document. So they just entered the web page of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs validated the information of this citizen in the database of the police and confirming the background situation, legal background situation. Well, they issued their legal background certificate. So this interoperability, it's where we, what we are currently working on, and the idea is part of the everything that we're doing to proceed from this automatic piece. So from the issuance entity, issuer entity, so that no one interrupts it. So all the integration is what basically we're trying to do. As the last progress of this model and achieving the electronic apostille and the online registry, well, by validating this Colombian apostille, we can also take a look at the document that was issued for it. So in this sense, Colombia counts with a registry of category 3, digital registry category 3, which allows to visualize electronic apostille with its base document, with its underlying base document, and we can watch it simultaneously. It can be used using a QR code, which is completely integrated in our model, and through online validation in the website of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, on the website of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So this is all about regarding our history, right? To talk about how did we get to be 100% online. It started from the 1st of July of 2016. From the 1st of July 2016 to here, the paperwork all of this is done 100% online. So now people don't have to come to the office, basically. with all the reduction of budget, staff, because it was no longer necessary to have a staff of 60 people. Currently, we're a team of um, 23 people and 7 administrative officials. So it's 30 in total. Additionally, the physical infrastructure was being reduced by having many floors in one building. Now we're just one, or just located in one floor in one building. And when ever since the beginning of the pandemic, right now we are working from home given the conditions that we find ourselves in. And thanks to the fact that the model is 100% online, there hasn't been any type of inconvenience or problems in keep providing the service as we were doing before. And we keep taking care of the demand normally that right now has become normalized to the levels that we had pre-pandemic. But with the advantage that given the current conditions that we find ourselves in, well, we can keep managing this paperwork on the modality of work, telework or working from home or home office. So additionally, we manage an average of 2,000 to 2,500 daily requests to be able to review by these agents. This is normal volume that actually was the one that we had pre-pandemic or before the pandemic. And basically, well, with the participation in Colombia in these international forums, well, thanks to these progresses, well, we've been able to have that acknowledgement by the permanent office. And also we've acquired this commitment of sharing our experiences, our knowledge with other states that are interested in implementing this technological solution and benefit both for the state and its citizens, given the fact that it allows for a digital transformation of these public services, right? Also, I would like to highlight the fact that at a national level, we achieved the distinction of the acknowledgement as a best practice thanks to the excellence seal of digital governance, given the fact that it's procedure that is done 100% online with every service for the user. And our goal is to keep working in interoperability to be able to generate electronic documents with data signature that can be apostilled in an automatic way in the application without having the need of an intervention by substantiating agents in its revision without any type of reviewers for the system to be the one that directly validates this information. Regarding the benefits of this electronic and legal apostille online, well, we know that it's much easier to pay for it in Colombia. You can use a lot of services, PSE, which is an electronic payment service, credit cards, all bankings in authorized cities, money orders when you are overseas, credit cards, everything. So this has allowed to facilitate the payment both nationally and internationally to our citizens. Also, let's remember that if you live overseas, if you have a credit card, you can just pay. You don't need to go to a consulate. Sometimes it's too far from you, so too far from where you live. So now we just can do it online with a credit card. The service is available 24/7, including every single holiday. No restrictions in the hours when you need it. And the other advantage is that this model doesn't require for the apostille to be printed, but given the fact that it's electronic, it's sent to your email. And in case you don't get it, it can be downloaded from the webpage www.cancilleria.gov.co. So it can be directly presented as you receive it in your email, and you can present it before the foreign entity that is requiring it. So this contributes to everything that has to do with not using paper and a positive green impact on the environment. Why the Ministry of Foreign Affairs decided to offer this knowledge and share it with our international partners with the South-South cooperation? Well, basically, because we have this commitment with the Permanent Office of The Hague for the Apostille Convention, and we've been sharing our experience about the implementation of the electronic apostille model, online apostille model, with interested countries. through our international technical cooperation as an exchange process or knowledge exchange process and technology transfer process about the design of the system. The development of this project includes to provide advisory and assistance to develop an operational procedure and managerial procedure related to, first, a required personal profile, technological and equipment infrastructure, budget, and regulation. So that's why we decided to offer this knowledge to know and to offer to everyone this knowledge through our South-South cooperation to be able to validate an line for the receiver of any apostille can validate it in the enabled system and to provide better security to our users. So that's why we are really interested in supporting every initiative that are aiming to develop this practice in our countries and through the authorities that are part of this convention and agreement. Everything that has to do with assistance, everything that has to do with diagnosis, about legislation, about regulations, budget, and technological infrastructure that is needed, staff as well, human staff, physical infrastructure in any given case. It's all this evolutionary process to be able to get to stage where we have 100% online apostille. So with whom have we shared this experience? So in the beginning, we finished this first cooperation project with the Dominican Republic. We had ever since 2018 joint work with them. We were working with them since 2018. They were adapting and developing their software with of course, the help of the IT department in the Colombian Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They were adapting to their needs, to reality, and aiming to uh, improve a procedure that by being in person has a lot of limitations and risks, especially now during the pandemic. This experience was the best one that we've had. And currently we're working with Honduras, actually. They're undergoing an implementation process of their of this exchange of information, experiences, and see how can we enrich ourselves. What will be the next steps to take into account regarding the strengthening of the model that we're implementing, and what lessons do we have from these projects? Where we've been able to identify improvement opportunities in our own process. Also, we've been able to identify needs in other states to be able to compare how we do it and how it's done in other countries. Maybe to identify, I don't know, documents that have different management to the one that we provide here in Colombia, but always looking to have that standardization of a convention about the apostille process. So it's been a really interesting experience. It's two-way. So the knowledge of technology, the model that was developed in Colombia, but additionally, you of course receive this feedback as you can be better. Results from this exercise as well, as we've seen before with the presentation with our coworker in the Dominican Republic, the implementation of electronic issuance process as a replication of our model of our own experience, and also to have this knowledge and advantages of being able to offer a service of better and more equitable services in achieving and contributing to the digital transformation of the state and the services that are provided to the citizens. Everything that has to do with promotion, with the combination with the change of being in person to the virtual world, what at one time or another, they can generate some rejection in the beginning? Well, because um, it can be done in a certain way, but as we do it and we see the benefits by doing it virtually without the need of going physically to a place and going from one entity to the other, that represents a benefit for the user. Well, now for everything that has to do with what do we highlight, this work that we've done with APC Colombia, with the Office of Cooperation in Colombia. We thank you for the spaces and this assistance that you provided to us to get to know this best practice. Actually, the legalization and apostille process is not so popular and so well known with the population as it can be the passport or the visa, but it's really important because it's completely linked to everything that has to do with migration flows and orderly migration. That's it's really important, so that we need to present documents that can be legally binding in other countries. So this visualization that we have through the cooperation is really important, and additionally to be able to share this experience with other countries and which are undergoing this process of electronic apostille, which are really satisfactory, because the idea is for every hiring state to get to this level of apostille generation that can be validated online and that can generate with all the entities that you're going through. So there's no doubt of the document that it's being presented. And well, now let's talk about advisory and assistance to generate these exchanges, project structuration. So this assistance has been really important, and we hope to continue doing it and to share it with more countries that are interested in getting to know this process. And regarding what perspectives do we have regarding best practices? Well, the idea is just that, to be able to share this knowledge and in certain way, if it's possible, to transfer this technology through our international cooperation to aim for more countries to achieve and to be part of the electronic apostille process at The Hague, and additionally for them to be able to implement both components that currently are part of it. Everything that has to do with electronic issuance and online electronic registry. And our other challenge is to make this interoperability model known with other entities of the state that issue documents that can be sensitive to being legalized, because we want it to be generated automatically for it to have that integration of information systems between the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the public entity that issues the document, to keep managing these automatic apostilles in the system that do not require any type of review by reviewers, actually. And our goal is to get to 90% of this documentation to be done completely online and automatically. So it's something that we want to do. It's something that requires a lot of work. And of course, to show them the benefits and advantages that this represents both for the issuing entity and for the users that need this to use this document. But now we have a legislation, right, actually that promotes this use of electronic procedures. And what we want to do is just that, to national optimize these procedures, integrate them, and that's what we're trying to do right now. So with that, I would finish my presentation about apostille in general. So we will be here for any inquiries, questions that you have for the next questions. We'll be here for you. Of course, Bernardo, thank you very much for this presentation. And before we give the floor to Carmen Ventura from the Dominican Republic, I would like to say to all the attendees that you can put your questions and drop your questions in the chat that we have right here. There are some questions here that we're going to ask you later on. And now we're going to give the floor to Carmen Delia Ventura. She's the apostille director from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs from the Dominican Republic, so that she can tell us about the adaptation of the Dominican Republic of this process. So welcome, Carmen. Good morning to you all. In the beginning of apostilles online in the Dominican Republic has been for us a very positive experience framed by the best practices of Colombia. And we had the decisive support of Colombia to provide the service and make it a reality. So regarding the initiative of cooperation, the exchange proposal of taking knowledge about the online apostille system comes as a result of the strengthening of cooperation of the cooperation between the Ministry of Foreign Affairs from the Dominican Republic and Colombia, and the signature of the resolution 350-06 that approves the technical scientific cooperation agreement between both governments. Based on the relationship, the implementation of the service on online legalization was approved by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in the Dominican Republic as part of the cooperation program that came from the fifth summit of the Mixed Cooperation Commission, both technical, scientific, education, and culture, that was celebrated on the 13th of December of 2017. So this was done in 2017, and based on the components of the project of implementation, the apostille service and online legalization, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in the Dominican Republic, well, we have as components first to strengthen, okay, as components, well, we have strengthened the capabilities of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for the implementation of the online apostille system. And what did we reach? Well, what was the result? Well, a diagnosis document that was drafted on the current capabilities in the Dominican Republic for the implementation of the online legalization and apostille system. Also, 6 professionals were trained to assume the process and take it over. Second, we have defined an implementation plan of the online legalization and apostille services, a document of implementation of the apostille service that were defined and presented. Second, donation of the software source code, apostille and online legalization, and the technical necessary assistance for the installing and commissioning of the system in the Dominican Republic. So what are the added values of the implementation of the best Colombian practices? Well, we have made more efficient the issuance of apostille and document legalization for Dominican citizens in the country and overseas. Second, we have increased the transparency, effectiveness, and access level from citizens, helping to fight future fraud and at the same time offer better security levels. Third, this convenient system, given the fact that it's faster, cheaper, and safe, which allows to work in real time with a response time between 20 to 30 minutes, reducing physical traveling costs by the citizens. Also, we have reduced times. So in financial terms and times, it's completely effective for the citizens, given the fact that what they were asking with having a certificate related to one certification. The availability of guidelines for the use of a online signature registry module for consul and diplomatic mission officials that are accredited or that are certified overseas from the diplomatic body of the Dominican Republic and from the public entities from the Dominican states and non-governmental organs as well, or bodies. Also, we have that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, of the Dominican Republic is the authority allocated by the Dominican state to apply the apostille and legalization system online. We value the transfer of the best Colombian practice as the opportunity for our ministry to endorse the commitment of continuing offering to every Dominican users or foreign user a service of legalization and apostille of public document that is safe, reliable, and in accordance to the format of the Hague Agreement and Conference. So it allows us to continue fulfilling the requisite and security standards that are established under international conventions to authenticate the origin of a public document, guaranteeing the legal security of these documents. Okay, reflections after we implemented this initiative. Well, it's important for the proper execution of initiatives to establish clear communication channels and respect the roles of the involved parties. South-South cooperation fosters the development of work teams that are committed with the achievement of the results and the promotion of capabilities beyond formal commitments. The receiving countries of this experience need to take ownership and make these best practices transfer sustainable. And for that, it is essential to identify committed human resources. So definitely it's possible in the South-South cooperation framework to perform high impact projects that can strengthen the institutionality and service to citizens. How can I put this? The implementation of this system in general has been a leap to the digital era. Before this process, we used to receive between 600 and 800 requests and 600 people a day in a presential way. This being reduced than less than 10%, which is a huge achievement. This is a really important achievement. Citizens can access it from their homes and perform their requests. It doesn't matter what time it is. We perform a 24/7 service. They can do it from any mobile phone, from any electronic artifact. They can do it from an iPhone, from an iPad, tablet, computer, etc. So this means that from any country, they can perform their request. It can be done within the country or without. So it's been really great in terms of time, money, security, and based on these times that are issued with due to COVID-19, that as we know, this pandemic has transformed the world. Everything that we do is virtual and online. So that's why it's been an amazingly useful tool for citizens. So we would really like to thank the Republic of Colombia and its authorities, given the fact that without them, this wouldn't have been possible. So we would really like to thank you in terms of apostille. So thank you very much. Carmen, thank you very much for sharing this and sharing how they have implemented this experience that you have received from Colombia. And I have a question from Alejandro Patiño Perez. I think that's for Bernardo, but maybe there are some other aspects for Carmen. And she asked for the homologation paperwork of university titles overseas. You can use the electronic apostille service.
Bueno, en esta,
Well, in this particular point of view, we are talking about homologation of titles, of university titles, of study titles. This is done by the Ministry of National Education, but the Ministry of National Education, the documents that come from overseas, well, need to be apostilled or legalized from the country of its original country. So in this case, if it's from an apostilling country, well, in this case, doesn't have any type of incidents, and we need to go to the online application because the apostille will be issued directly by the authority of the original country. So with this, what the user has to do is to present the apostille document with the Ministry of National Education and manage it online manage online all the homologation. So basically, this is done online by the Ministry of National Education. But if it comes from a country that is have to legalize the procedure, so is we need to request the legalization of the signature by the Colombian consulate that can certify that national document. So if the document comes from a country that is not part of the Hague Convention, well, that's a different part. They need to request an online request at the signature by the Colombian consulate, whatever they may find themselves in, with that we stipulating solution 7759 of 2019, and doing this procedure online of legalization at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Colombia. Well, this document can be presented with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs or Education to homologate this process. So it depends, actually. It depends if they're part of the Hague Convention or not. Perfect, Ricardo. So I wanted to ask you a question. Have you received any type of comments from the users with this service? Or how agile have you made all these procedures that were done presentially? Have you had any, have you measured that this didn't only take a day? Sometimes you would have to go back to receive the signature. Have you able to measure the times and received any comments from the users? Well, feedback about these subjects, well, we've received it through the satisfaction surveys that we give to the users. Every user fills it out, but those who say that they're really happy and their observations about this paperwork, where they do it through this online survey that's sent to the user when this apostille request is sent. So thanks to the satisfaction services that we've been able to provide improvements on the paperwork, everything that has to do with payments overseas, credit cards, etc. This was also thanks to the comments from the citizens. So for us, it's really important what our users think, what users tell us, um, in things that we can improve. Um, so this is done basically because there's a practice that's generated reduction in the response times to what was done presentially, and the easiness of doing it online from any place they may find themselves in, only if the document fulfills the signature requirements that needs to be presented. So that's our experience in that regard. The Dominican Republic, Ms. Winnie, as our experience has been really positive. What we have a commitment with our users on knowing how they have felt through a platform, WhatsApp platform, where they write to us and they express to us what's been their user experience with this system, what which has been for them really, really innovative. So we also have a guideline where people can call us and express themselves. And we are open to every suggestion and to soon have a customer satisfaction survey, which will we release soon so that they can fill out and talk to us about their whole experience, a format where we can say how do they feel depending on the service that was granted to them. So, of course, this is a service that has helped the citizens, that's reduced the processes, and that's being developed on the base of those comments. The best practices that they didn't the impact was so big in the reduction of the times in these processes of response time and satisfaction of the people and the users, as Carolyn was mentioning in her introduction. She's saying that there are many things at play here. We're developing many projects, and if we do it like that, well, we are replacing it overseas and do it in a much more better way. Well, what about commercial documents and What about mercantile or customs documents? Are they being legalized? Well, in the case of Colombia, with everything that has to do with customs documents, even though the convention, um, well, even though they say that this can be legalized, Colombia taking care of the needs of same businessmen in other countries where they need these documents that are may not be legalized but apostilled. So that's why we enabled in the online application an option for this type of documents. We enabled a special listing related to these documents, to these customs documents. And in this section, the users may choose if they issue legalization what they're being requested in the destination country, aiming to help the conditionals this recurrent episode, this type of documents has this double option, the legalizing or apostilling. So depending on what's being done. So this has been done for many years. When this hasn't created any type of inconveniences. So for example, this year, one of the subjects that we want to check is everything that has to do with the Apostille Convention Agreement. So we've opened this possibility so these documents can be included within the application of this agreement. Perfect, Bernardo. And what about the case of the Dominican Republic? We can hear you, Carmen. You're muted. Even though the user decides to do so, it depends on the requirements. The convention, of course, gives them another type of treatment, but it depends on the user in this case. Well, thank you very much, Luciana. But here we have another one for the Ministry of Economics and Planning and Development. We would like to thank for the APC and Ministry for all this received support so that the country today can have this apostille system. It's been a really enriching experience since its conception and its inception. But we don't know from what country Rosana Arias is writing for. Nasli says great practice. And well, this way we are start getting to the end of this event, this fifth South meeting with the apostille and online legalization. Oh, Dominican Republic, Rosana. Thank you. Thank you, Rosana. Thank you, Rosana. Thank you very much. And I'm going to ask Carolina Quintero to join us once again, just to close this, not only the session, so that she can tell us as well, how can you contact those, for those countries who are interested in knowing about this best practice from Colombia, how can you guys reach us? Well, thank you, Bernardo. Thank you, Carmen. Thank you, everyone. This has been a really interesting dialogue that besides leaving us this basic information about this best practice, they convey to us also
su buena energía y su
your
disposición
good
hacia el
energy
trabajo
and
que ustedes
willingness
hacen y
to the
eso
work that you
quiero
perform.
pues remarcar.
So I would
En
like to
cuanto a las
highlight that. So
posibilidades de
regarding
trabajos de
the
cooperación sur-sur o
cooperation
iniciativas de
possibilities
cooperación
and
sur-sur, desde la APC
initiatives of
Colombia,
cooperation from APC
quienes han
Colombia,
visto esta
everyone
práctica
that's
pueden
seen this
contactarse
practice
a través
or
del
wants
correo
to get to know about it, you can contact me at catalinaquintero@apcolombia.gov.co
para que a partir de esa manifestación de interés podamos empezar
You can let us know about
a
your
identificar y a
intent,
formular proyectos que nos permitan
interest
intercambiar el
intent, and
conocimiento
from
en
there we
esta,
can
en esta
start
buena práctica
starting
de Colombia.
together, setting up meetings,
Entonces ahí
and
está
start
en el
working
chat
together.
el
So
correo
you can see
y
my
les
email on the
deseamos
chat.
un muy
We
buen
wish
día a
you
todas
an
y
amazing
todos
day
y
to
esperamos
everyone,
poderlos ver
and we hope
en el
to
próximo
see
Diálogo
you
del
very
Sur,
soon, the
que ya
next
estaremos
South-South
cerrando
dialogue
este ciclo
which will be
2021
closing
y
this 2021
esperamos
cycle.
pues que nos
And we
acompañen
hope
con
that
una
you
muy
guys can
buena
be here with
práctica de
us with the
Colombia
best practices
relacionada
from
con las
Colombia related
iniciativas.
to
Entonces ya
our
a
best
finales de julio
practices. So at the
cerraremos
end of
este
July,
proceso de los
we will
Diálogos del
close
Sur
this process of
2021.
South-South Dialogue
Gracias, Winnie.
2021. Thank you, Winnie. Thank you, Catalina. Well, Catalina, thanks to you, thanks to Bernardo, thanks to Carmen from the DR, to everyone that was here with us in this event, Miriam Escajon, of course, that's been coordinating all the South-South dialogues. And of course, we will confirm to you the date of this last South-South Dialogue, Southern Dialogues to close this 2021 cycle. That is going to be part of all the celebration events that we have in APC Colombia, given the fact that we are celebrating the 10th anniversary of this agency of international cooperation and the South-South Cooperation. And Rita, she says, thank you. Thanks to you and Rita for being here with us. And we will see you later on. Thank you and have a great day. Bye-bye, everyone.